The WNBA just made the biggest mistake in league history, and Caitlin Clark is laughing all the way to the bank. What started as a simple Instagram comment has now blown up into a full-scale war between the league's biggest star and Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's office. And here's the kicker, Clark isn't backing down one bit. Picture this, the Indiana Fever just pulled off one of the most shocking upsets in recent memory against the Las Vegas Aces. The team's celebrating, fans are going wild, and Clark, who's been sidelined with an ankle injury since early January 2025, decides to show some love to her teammates on Instagram. She types 4 words. Just 4 words. Refs couldn't stop us. That's it. That's the comment that sent the entire WNBA front office into panic mode. But before we dive deeper into this absolute circus, make sure you hit that like button if you think the WNBA needs to get their priorities straight. And drop a comment below telling us what you think about this whole situation. Now here's where things get absolutely insane. The league actually fined Clark $200 for those 4 words. $200. Sophie Cunningham immediately jumped on social media joking about starting a GoFundMe for Clark's massive financial burden. The sarcasm was dripping and fans ate it up, but this isn't just about money. This is about control, and the WNBA just showed their hand. Let me paint you the full picture of what's been happening behind closed doors. Sources close to the situation are revealing that this fine wasn't just some random decision. The league has been monitoring Clark's social media activity like hawks ever since she became the face of women's basketball. Every post, every comment, every emoji is being scrutinized. And why? Because they're terrified of what she represents. A player who's bigger than the league itself. Think about what Clark has done for the WNBA in just 2 seasons. Attendance records shattered, TV ratings through the roof. Merchandise flying off the shelves faster than they can stock it. The Fever went from afterthoughts to must-see TV, and it's all because of number 22. You'd think the league would be bending over backwards to keep her happy. Instead, they're nickel and diming her over Instagram comments. But that wasn't the whole story. What the league didn't expect was for Clark to turn this into a masterclass in public relations. Within hours of the fine being announced, she posted a screenshot of the offensive comment with laughing emojis and the caption, "Got fined $200 for this LOL." The post went viral instantly, millions of views, thousands of comments from fans calling out the league's hypocrisy. Even players from other teams started chiming in, questioning why the WNBA seems more interested in policing social media than fixing their actual problems. And let's talk about those problems for a second. The officiating this season has been an absolute disaster. We're talking about games where the refs completely lose control. Technical fouls flying left and right. Players getting away with flagrant contact while others get called for breathing too hard. The Fever alone have been on the wrong end of so many questionable calls that fans started keeping spreadsheets tracking the bad officiating. It's gotten that bad. Remember that game against the Connecticut Sun back in December 2024? 5 technicals, multiple ejections. The refs literally lost control of the game and it turned into a wrestling match. Or how about when Clark got hammered driving to the basket against the Phoenix Mercury just 2 weeks before her injury? No call, but then got whistled for a phantom foul on the other end 30 seconds later. These aren't isolated incidents. This is happening every single game. What happened next would shock everyone. Internal emails leaked showing that Commissioner Engelbert's office had been discussing the Clark problem for weeks. The problem? She's too popular, too influential, too willing to speak her mind. The league brass is apparently concerned that Clark's growing platform gives her too much power to shape public opinion about the WNBA. They want a star they can control, not one who calls them out on their BS. But here's the real tea that nobody's talking about. This fine wasn't even supposed to happen. Multiple sources within the league office confirmed that there was a heated debate about whether to punish Clark at all. Half the staff argued it would be a PR nightmare. The other half insisted they needed to send a message. Guess which side won? The idiots who thought fining their biggest star over a harmless comment was somehow going to make them look strong. The timing couldn't be worse for the league either. We're in the middle of January 2025, right when the WNBA should be building momentum for the upcoming season. Instead of headlines about exciting roster moves or the new expansion teams coming in 2026, all anyone's talking about is how the league is trying to silence Caitlin Clark. Marketing departments across the league are pulling their hair out watching this self-inflicted disaster unfold. And it gets even wilder. Players from around the league are now openly mocking the fine on social media. Arike Ogunbowale posted a video pretending to zip her lips after making a three-pointer in practice. Brianna Stewart tweeted, "I love basketball," with about 17 laughing emojis. Even A'ja Wilson, who just won her 5th MVP award announcement coming later this month, liked Clark's post about the fine. When your reigning MVP is subtly taking sides against the league office, you know you've screwed up. Sophie Cunningham has been absolutely savage about the whole thing. She's been retweeting every single meme about the fine, adding her own commentary that's just barely avoiding getting her fined too. "Wow, $200 whole dollars. Better start that second mortgage," she posted yesterday. "Maybe we should all chip in a penny to help our girl out." The Phoenix Mercury guard knows exactly what she's doing, using humor to expose how ridiculous this whole situation is. But let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture here. This isn't just about one fine or one player. This is about the future of the WNBA. The league is at a crossroads. They can either embrace their new generation of stars who aren't afraid to speak their minds, or they can keep trying to control the narrative like it's still 1997. Spoiler alert, the control freak approach isn't working. The financial implications are staggering too. Clark's jersey sales alone account for nearly 40% of all WNBA merchandise revenue, according to industry insiders. Her signature shoe deal with Nike is worth more than the entire salary cap of some teams. She's bringing in sponsors who never gave women's basketball a second look before, and the league's response is to fine her over an Instagram comment? Make it make sense. Here's something that'll really blow your mind. The same week Clark got fined, there were 3 separate incidents of players getting into physical altercations during games. Not a single fine was issued for any of them. A player literally shoved another player to the ground after a dead ball, and the league's response was crickets. But Clark makes a joke about refs on Instagram, and suddenly it's time to break out the checkbook? The double standard is so obvious it's insulting. The reaction from Fever fans has been nothing short of explosive. Season ticket sales for 2025 have actually increased since the fine was announced. Fans are organizing protests outside the league office. There's even talk of a coordinated social media campaign where thousands of fans will post "refs couldn't stop us" at the exact same time to flood the WNBA's mentions. The league thought they were sending a message to Clark, but instead, they've united an entire fan base against them. What's really fascinating is watching how Clark is handling all of this. While other players might have gone on a rant or called out the commissioner directly, she's playing it smart. She's letting her massive platform do the talking. Every post, every story, every interaction is calculated to highlight the absurdity without crossing any lines that could get her in more trouble. It's a masterclass in modern athlete activism. The coaching staff isn't happy either. Fever head coach Stephanie White, who returned to Indiana this season, was asked about the fine in a press conference, and her response was telling. "I think our players should be able to express excitement about winning games," she said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Translation: "This is complete bullshit, but I can't say that without getting fined myself." Even more interesting is what's happening with the Players Association. They're reportedly considering filing a formal grievance over the fine, arguing that it violates the collective bargaining agreement's provisions on freedom of expression. If they go through with it, this could turn into a massive legal battle that the league absolutely doesn't want right now. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. Other professional sports leagues are watching this disaster unfold and taking notes on what not to do. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was reportedly overheard at a recent event saying the WNBA's handling of the situation was unfortunate. When the NBA Commissioner is publicly throwing shade at your decision making, you know you've messed up big time. The sponsorship implications are already starting to show. Multiple brands that were considering WNBA partnerships are now having second thoughts. Why would they want to associate with a league that seems determined to antagonize its most marketable player? Marketing executives are literally using this situation as a case study in how not to handle star talent. And let's not forget about the international angle. Clark's popularity extends way beyond American borders. She's huge in Europe, massive in Asia, and growing rapidly in South America. The WNBA has been trying to expand its global reach for years, and Clark is their golden ticket to international markets. So naturally, they decide to pick a fight with her over nothing. Genius move, really. What makes this even more ridiculous is that Clark's comment wasn't even wrong. The officiating in that Aces game was questionable at best. Multiple calls went against the Fever that had even neutral commentators scratching their heads. Clark was simply stating what everyone watching could see with their own eyes. But apparently, in the WNBA, telling the truth is a finable offense. The veteran players are watching this closely too. Diana Taurasi, who's been in the league since 2004, made some interesting comments on a recent podcast. The league needs to figure out what it wants to be, she said. You can't market these young stars as the future and then punish them for having personalities. When the GOAT is calling you out, maybe it's time to reconsider your approach. Meanwhile, Clark continues to rehab her ankle injury with an expected return in early February 2025. But sources close to the team say she's using this time to plan her next moves carefully. There's talk of her launching her own media company, giving her even more control over her narrative. If the league wants to play hardball, Clark's ready to play harder. The merchandise situation is particularly hilarious. After the fine was announced, fans started creating bootleg t-shirts with "Refs couldn't stop us" printed on them. They're selling like crazy outside Fever games. The league is essentially driving fans to buy unlicensed merchandise because they decided to make a martyr out of their biggest star. You literally can't make this stuff up. Social media metrics tell the whole story. The WNBA's official accounts have been getting ratioed on every post since the fine was announced. Meanwhile, Clark's follower count has increased by over 200,000 in just 3 days. She's gaining more from this controversy than she's losing, and the league is too stubborn to see it. But here's what really gets me. The WNBA had an opportunity here. They could have laughed it off, maybe even leaned into the joke. Imagine if the league's social media had responded to Clark's comment with something witty. It would have shown they can take a joke and humanize the organization. Instead, they chose the nuclear option and made themselves look like the fun police. The players group chat must be absolutely wild right now. You know, every player in the league is talking about this, sharing memes, and probably planning their own subtle protests. The unity this has created among players might actually be the silver lining. Nothing brings people together like a common enemy, and the league office just volunteered for that role. Looking ahead, this situation is far from over. Clark's got 3 more years on her current contract, but there's already speculation about what happens after that. If the league keeps treating her like this, why would she stay? The new unrivaled league is offering massive contracts. International leagues would pay her millions. The WNBA better figure out fast that they need Clark way more than she needs them. The most ironic part, this whole controversy has generated more attention for the WNBA than anything else this month. Clark's fine has been covered by every major sports outlet, discussed on every podcast, and debated on every show. The league is getting exactly what they claim to want: attention, just not the kind they were hoping for. As we wrap this up, remember to subscribe if you want to stay updated on this developing story, and let us know in the comments. Do you think the WNBA will eventually apologize to Clark, or will they double down on this insanity? The bottom line is simple: the WNBA just picked a fight with the wrong player at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player anymore. She's a movement. She's a brand. She's the future of women's basketball, whether the league likes it or not. And if they keep trying to silence her, they're going to find out exactly how powerful she's become. This $200 fine might just be the $200 mistake that changes everything.